Welcome back to another episode of the Sistah Talk podcast. I'm your host, Gold Chain Diva. You already know. And if you don't know, you're going to find out. I'm just a sister who got a lot to talk about. And since it's been some months since we last spoke to each other, I'm going to have a lot to say to y'all today. Listen, a lot of shenanigans been shenanigans, and hopefully I don't miss nothing because I'm just going to go rapid fire and just let y'all know my feelings on some of the things that happened since we last talked. But before we get into the tea, what's been going on with your sister, okay? Listen, it's been a lot. We haven't seen each other since March. The last episode that we had was with DTW Judah. Hopefully you enjoyed that episode. Hopefully you went to support him, support his music, support his brand. So hopefully, I missed y'all. Hopefully y'all ain't forget about your sister, okay? Because I ain't forget about y'all. Just life been lifing for real. Like, I had to get down here, get settled in. But for those of you who don't know, if y'all don't follow me on social media, I've relocated to a new city, y'all. Okay, I used to be in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and now your sister made the biggest move of her life, and now I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So coming to you live from Charlotte, North Carolina. Sister was like, listen, I'm always transparent with y'all. I always let y'all in on what's going on in my life. So a lot of y'all know, last year was a real trying year for me. Last year was a year that if I wasn't tapped into the source, that I would have thought was the worst year of my life because I ended up losing my job last year, or my job lost me last year. So if I wasn't tapped into the source, I would have thought that was a very bad thing for my life, but realistically it was a blessing and it set me up for where I am right now. So last year was a little tough, but it also was a great year because I got to do a lot last year, move around, accomplish some goals that I had already had set for myself when I was at that job that I was never able to do because I was tied down to a desk 8 hours out the day. But it was, like I said, it was a blessing in disguise. And at the end of last year, I just made this decision, of course, with consulting the source, made the decision to finally make a leap that I had been wanting to make for a long time. I want to say my first time visiting Charlotte was back in 2020 when I first started my job at my last position, because that role was technically based here in Charlotte. Like, that's where the home office is at. So I visited here that first time, and honestly, it was love at first sight. Like, I've been back every year since then. And so at the end of last year, I had a friend who, I met from college who was living down here because we was actually supposed to make the move together at the beginning of 2024 to come down here. But because of what happened in my life, he came and I stayed in Pennsylvania. So one of my friends, he was living down here, came to visit him for about a week or so, and then fell in love with the place all over again and started thinking to myself like, sis, you don't have no job. You ain't got no kids. What are you doing in Pennsylvania? Like, what are you doing? What's holding you back? What's keeping you from making this move? And so kind of just seeing how that friend lived his life and how he was moving so freely and able to, make some moves and do certain things, it really inspired me to get outside of my head and really take that leap. Like, it was kind of feeling like now or never. Like, if I were to stay in Pennsylvania, get another job, I would have been tied down to a job and I probably would have never left. Like, I probably would have got crazy comfortable again and complacent, and I would have never left. And so it kind of was like, okay, you don't have a job. I had been on so many different interviews, for positions that I'm qualified for. And a lot of you, if you're out in this job market right now, like, how tough this market is right now. So went on so many interviews that I was qualified for, even jobs that I was overqualified for, and they ain't waste no time telling your sister that she was overqualified and they was moving on to the next. So it was like, I'm out here trying to make something happen, and all doors are closed. Like, nothing is opening up for me. Everything, like, it just felt like the well was drying up. And so I was just like, you know what? If my friend can get up and do this, why can't I? And so it just trickled into a series of visits. Like I think I visited for the first time like early December. That was when I was coming down here just for leisure. Then I visited again in like a couple weeks after that. Then a couple of weeks after that. So I was down here like back to back for like some weeks. And so everything just lined up the way that it should have. And I'm very grateful that I had a friend who could be instrumental in making this happen for me because when I tell you this friend looked out for me, he gave me a place to stay every time I was here, even if he wasn't here, because that friend also transitioned and went back to Pennsylvania, which I'm sad about because I thought I was going to have him here. But just having that support system and having that person that was willing to help, even if he wasn't physically in the city, was just tremendous. It helped me out a lot. It helped me get the opportunity to come down here and when I say I did rapid fire tours, like I'm down here, I was out every day, every hour, had back to back to back tours. I saw so many different places, and I knew I wanted to be here, and so it was like things were lining up, and my family and friends didn't have much time to adjust to my decision. I want to say the first person I told was my mom when I first came down here in December. When I came back, I told her, I said, "Ma, I think I'm going to make this move." And then I told my dad shortly after that. And then I was telling my friends, like little by little, like whoever called me, I was telling them next. And like once you get the ball rolling, like when it's a reality, like you can't really go back on what it is. Like at this point, like the ball is rolling. So just kind of shared the information with several people as it was happening. And realistically, like I said, my first time coming down was in December. I made my decision. I was fully decided by the beginning of February, and I was moved in here by the beginning of March. So it really moved so fast. Like a lot of people, when they move, it takes like at least 4 to 6 months, something like that. But realistically, like it didn't take me much time. So my family didn't have much time to prepare at all. So needless to say, like with that little bit of time, it was very emotional for myself and for my family. But I felt like if I hadn't done it that way, I would have never done it. I would have never like ripped the band-aid off and just, dove head first into the pool for real. So with that being said, I don't want to make this story like a out of my own will type situation, because realistically, like it was nothing but God as to how I'm here and as to how I'm still in my circumstance that I'm in right now, where it's seemingly like nothing has changed, no doors have opened up. But one thing that I can say throughout this time is that God has sustained me. Okay, I haven't needed for anything this entire time, and the fact that I was able to make this move with less than what I had when I was on a job is beyond me. Like I was so scared, even like having that type of security, being so scared to make the move, but then making that move with so much less, it just makes you realize like, dang, like I really can do anything like with Christ. Like I can do anything as long as I have God on my side. And so, I prayed about it. I made, peace about it. I made sure that this was a decision that God had for me. And like I said, the toughest thing for me to do was leave my home that I've known for the last 20 years, okay? Like I got friends that I've known for almost 20 years. Like my support system is there. My dad, my mom, my siblings, all my best friends, like it was comfortable. And God kind of had me in a place where, and I'm just being transparent, and I'm sorry if anybody feels a certain type of way by hearing this, but I have to share my experiences with all of you all just in case something that I say helps you all. But I'm that person in my family that's kind of like the rock. I'm the backbone. I'm the one that people call and they know I'm going to come. They know I'm going to come through. They know I'm reliable. They rely on me for a lot. And for many years, I lived my life for everybody around me. Like, for a person in my position that does not have any children, who is not married yet, who hasn't bought a house yet or anything like that, you would think like, oh, it should be so easy for you to just get up and go. And realistically, it is. But when your mindset is not there, it's not as easy as you would think that it is, honestly. So in my position, it was so hard for me to make this decision because everything I loved was, was my everyday existence. It was a part of my identity of who I was. Being that anchor, that backbone for my family was literally my identity for so many years. And that's just, where I became comfortable. Like I said, just showing up for everybody, for everything that they needed me for. And really at the end of last year, it really pushed me to really think about what it looks like to show up for Tira. For those of you who don't know who Gold Chain Diva is for real, my name is Tira, y'all. But I really had to really figure out like how to show up for myself, how to show up for Tira. Like, what does that look like? Because, living my life for my parents or living my life for my siblings or living my life for my friends because I'm just like, oh my God, what are they going to do without me? That's not a way to live life. And realistically, I really had to think about it like, okay, what am I going to do for me? One of the things, and I think I shared a little bit about this on the podcast with y'all, one of the last episodes before I disappeared for a little while. My grandfather passed at the end of last year, and that was something that was really tough for me. Like it really hit me hard because I think up until that point, like I had not experienced grief from somebody that was so close to me like that before. That man, like anybody who knows that man was my heart. And so when he passed away, it really hit me hard. And it really put me in a position where I was just like, oh my God, I needed people to show up for me. I needed somebody to be me for me. Like I show up without a doubt. Even out of an empty cup, I'm showing up to pour into somebody else's cup, which I know, and I'm not going to tell nobody to do that because that's not healthy. Like you got to have something for yourself before you start pouring them to other people. But that's just how big my heart is. My heart is just that big where even if I'm running on fumes, I'm going to make sure that my people are good. Like if I got it to give, I'm still going to give even that last little bit that I have. And so realistically, like that's just how I move. And so when I lost my grandfather, it put me in a place where I was just like, I need a me for me. And I need somebody to kind of like be my strong friend. When you're the strong friend, like you get overlooked a lot because people just automatically assume that you have it. Especially when you're a person who has so many people around you, they just assume that somebody else is going to do it. And so it put me in a place where I looked up and I was like, damn. Where's my people? Like, where's my support? Like, nobody really showed up for me the way that I really needed them to at that time. Like, I was struggling. I was down bad. Like I couldn't get out of bed. I was having panic attacks and all types of other stuff. And so it put me in a position where I started to realize like, okay, here I am waiting for the cavalry to come. I'm waiting for somebody to come and, rescue me. Somebody to kind of just come give me a hug and let me know it's going to be okay. And when it was all said and done, the only thing I had besides God was me and Gotti. Me and Gotti. Like literally when I looked up, I was like, wow, it's really just me in this life alone. If something happens to me, it only falls on me. Nobody is there to lift me up when it's time, when I need it. And so it kind of put me in a place where I started to think like, wow, what's the difference between me being here around everything that I know versus me being somewhere else where they're hours away from me? There's no difference. It's no difference because when it's all said and done, when the shit hits the fan, I'm the one that has to figure it out. I'm the one that got to pull myself up by my bootstraps and, recover. Nobody is there for me in that way. And I hate to say it like that because I know that's going to ruffle somebody's feathers and make them feel a certain type of way. And honestly, I've had conversations with some of my closest friends and let them know how certain things made me feel. So it's not going to be a shock to some people. But realistically, like when I looked up, it was only one person that really showed up for me, and she knows who she is. And I'm not even going to really even name no names because I don't want to make nobody mad, nobody jealous, nobody feel no type of way because this ain't what it is. But it was one person who really just dropped everything on, like, because my grandfather passed away on the 23rd of December, when on Christmas Day I could not get out of bed, and there was one person who showed up for me. Now realistically, when she showed up, I had a freaking panic attack because there was so much stuff going on. But nonetheless, she showed up for me. She took that time out of her time that she could have been spending with her family to check up on me. And so realistically, like if you don't get nothing else out of this message right now, check on your strong friends. Like, I know we say that a lot. I know it's so cliche and you read it on a status on Facebook all the time, but check on your strong friends, because we may not need it often, but when we do, we're going to tell you that we need it. And y'all need to be tapped in enough to know, okay, let me take a step out of myself and really return the energy that was given to me when I needed it. So just check them on your strong friends. But also, I think that God is calling me to something bigger, something greater. Not just, trying to make it a sub story or nothing like that. But I just feel like God is calling me to a place where he's forcing me to stand on my own too, okay? Like, he's forcing me to finally do something for me, live my life for me at this point. Like, obviously, and I'm not saying it so selfishly, because obviously everything I do is to glorify the kingdom of God, but like, he's forcing me into a place where he's like, you've done all of this for so many people around you, and they may have taken you for granted because that's all they've known. They got so used to you being there. Maybe it's time for them to miss you just a little bit. Maybe it's time for them to miss you. Maybe it's time for you to go away and experience some things and do some things for yourself and figure out what really makes you happy, because I gave you the time to reset. Like, realistically, 2024 was my reset. Like, ever since I got laid off from my job, it's been a reset. It's been a journey of figuring out what makes Tira happy, what makes me happy. I have this opportunity in front of me that most people do not get, to figure it out. I got out of college and went straight into a corporate position because I thought that was what I was supposed to do. That was what I was told was the American dream. And here I am now, down on my luck, thinking like, dang, like, people may be looking at me this certain type of way because I'm not where, I should be, or where they think I should be, or whatever the case may be. But realistically, like, God is pushing me to a place where he's giving me the grace, the mercy, the time, and the resources to be able to make something out of nothing right now. And so that's what I'm doing here in Charlotte. I'm here. I'm making connections. At this point that you are watching this podcast, I have been here for 2 months, okay? 2 months went by extremely fast. But what I can say is, since I've been here, I've hit the ground running. I've met so many good people. I've been to so many different events. I've learned this area. At first, it was definitely scary because, like, when this first happened, like when I first moved, I thought I would have my bestest friend with me here for a couple of nights. But the way that it worked out is, I really didn't have anybody here for me here with me those 2 months. Like, I do have a friend that's here, and he has been a great support system. So I can't take nothing away from him, because, like, he has been like that force to kind of ground me when I need it. But I really haven't had nobody here, so I was really forced to really put my big girl pants on and really try to do the damn thing. And so I can say that I've been here for 2 months. I've met great people. I've hit, several events. I really feel like I have not taken a breath since I got here. So, my biggest thing is just making sure that I keep my eye on the prize. I stay focused, but at the same time, just making sure I am everywhere I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there, making sure I'm meeting who I'm supposed to meet when I'm supposed to meet them. But ultimately, just making sure I am doing what makes Tira happy, but also is what adding to my purpose. And so I have no complaints, y'all. I have no complaints. I just dropped a video on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna, make sure I plug it in right here, so y'all can go check that out. But it was a moving vlog, and you kind of get to see, what that process looked like for me, because it was a lot. It was a lot. And if you haven't checked out the Farewell Food Tour, those are in episodes on the channel as well. Just check those out. But your good sis been out here. Listen, sticking and moving. I got to go to Dreamville Fest, y'all. Listen, first of all, I didn't even really know what Dreamville was for real. But I ended up being able to go because one of my friends, she was celebrating her birthday out there. And since I had moved down here, Raleigh is 2.5 hours away. So I was like, all right, bet I'm just going to pull up on her, say hi, whatever. Because I had another event, a showcase that I was going to. And that video will be dropping soon, kind of get the recap on that. So check that out if y'all have some time. But I went out there for a showcase, and I'm just gonna pull up on this friend. Well, she ended up in a situation where she had an extra ticket, so I was like, "All right, bet I'm about to go." So ended up going to Dreamville. Man, when I tell y'all that was an experience, like when I say it was wild, I don't know if any of y'all watched Insecure, but that episode where the girls went to Coachella and they went crazy. Okay, it was similar to that, just minus, a lot of the theatrics that was going on in the episode. But we did have a great time, man. If I can find that picture, I'm gonna put that picture up on the screen for y'all. It was a point in time where I'm in this crowd. Like, I mean, we've been there all day. Like, we got there early. We started off where you see this big old open field, and that starts, earlier in the daytime or whatever. And as time goes on, and you get to the headliner at the end of the night. So the first night, the headliner was. First of all, hold on, look. For those of you who don't know, I'm gonna just run it down because y'all may or may not know. I wanted to talk about Dreamville, but I never got a chance to. So the first day we were excited. We were so excited. I don't think any of us really knew what to expect because like none of us had ever been to Dreamville before. So they got two stages, and so pretty much you either running back and forth all day, which is not a short walk. I mean, when I say this is a big field, it's a huge area. But we running back and forth. And so the first day we got to see Ari Lennox, which that was cool. I think I had seen Ari before somewhere, but got to see Ari Lennox. Then we got to see Keisha Cole. I didn't really get to see her up close, but I've seen videos about Keisha Cole's performances lately, and one of the pieces of feedback that I have is sis wasn't really singing, okay? Listen, when she was singing about two words, but then the crowd was singing the rest of the time. Love never. That's exactly what it was the whole time. Like, like she just had the microphone out, and the crowd was singing for her. Then listen, this is the person that I've always wanted to see, and I'm happy that this person is finally getting their flowers, and that's Ludacris. Ludacris came, he showed up, and he did the damn thing. Okay, listen, took me back to my youth. Okay, when I tell y'all, I still got my CDs from back when I was in middle school. I was a huge Ludacris fan. I got the Chicken and Beer album. I got the Red Light District album. Listen, I got all the albums, and it definitely like it was a full circle moment when I was like, okay, like I finally get to see one of my favorite rappers because like I feel like people underestimate and underrate him, but he's one of my favorites when it comes down to it, and he's damn sure a lyricist. So definitely give him his flowers. And then who else did we see that day? We saw Luda. Party Next Door was there. Now, my thing is, I used to listen to Party Next Door a lot, but I kind of fell off with him over the years. But it was definitely nice to see him. But I can't really say that I knew too many of the songs because, like I said, I fell off like early in his career. And then the highlight, this is what I was getting to. The highlight of the night, the headliners of the night was Lil Wayne and the Hot Boys. So you already know. Listen, Birdman, Manny Fresh came out, Gator Booze with the pimped out Gucci shoes. Ain't got no job, but I stay fly. Got a quarter, take a gas. All right, but anyway, but yes, Birdman, Manny Fresh came out. Then the whole Hot Boys came out. When I say BG, because y'all know he just got out not that long ago. BG, Juvenile, Turk. Okay, they started off the show. And then Lil Wayne came out and did his set. I mean, a Millie, blunt blowing, polo draw showing. I don't give a. All right, I ain't even about to sing all of it, but y'all know. Listen, hey, Mr. Carter. Living my best life, okay? Once he came out, then, because when the Hot Boys were performing before him, they skipped over all his verses or whatever. So then when he came out, he did his songs, and then the Hot Boys came back out, and of course they did, Girl, You Look Good, won't you back that? You a big fine woman, won't you? All right, but they did all the tunes. They did Number One Stunner, what? Listen, when I tell you, they did Give Me a Project, man. Give me a hood rat, man. One that don't give a what. and said she took that. Listen, if you know, you know. If you of a certain generation, you feel my excitement through this camera. But they gave me so much life. So that was the first day. Then the second day, we got a little bit more hip to the flow of the day, okay? We said, okay, which one of these stages? And I didn't even give y'all everybody because they had 21 Savage. They had what's that man name? What is his daggone name? Chicago rapper. I want to say Polo G, but that is not who I'm talking about. What is that man name? Anyway. It was a whole bunch of other people there. But anyway, the second day, we made a decision. We said, okay, this stage has this person, this person, this person, and this stage got this person, this person, this person. We about to pick a stage. Who got the most people that we want to see? And we're going to pick a spot and we're going to stay there all day. Because when I tell you that first day our feet was hurting so bad, you walk back and forth all day, number one. Then when you got to walk outside of the park to even catch an Uber, then imagine trying to get an Uber while everybody else in this place trying to get an Uber. Could not get an Uber. We walked for at least, we walked a nice little bop before we just sat. And we was out there for like an hour, maybe 2 hours waiting on the Uber the first night. When I say we was slumpity dumped on the side of the street because we were so tired. So the second day we was like, yeah, we not doing that no more. We not doing that today. So we picked the spot, stayed there all day. And we got to see Wale, which is my baby. Love me some Wale. Then we got to see Glorilla. Glorilla definitely came out, did her thing. She had her backup dances. She did her moves. And listen, all I'm going to say is, whether Glow got a skinny BBL or what, that thing was thangin'. That thing was thangin'. I said, okay, Go. That's why they call you Big Glow. But yeah, Glow did her thing. And then listen, this was one of the highlights. We had Erykah Badu, Miss Badu. Okay, I guess I see you next lifetime. And she literally did every song that I wanted her to sing. She did "Love of My Life," "You Are My Friend." She did that. She did "Bad Lady, You Gon' Hurt Your Back." Listen, I'm gonna put a couple little clips up there because I want y'all to live through me, okay? Then she topped it off just when I thought that she was gonna lead the stage. First of all, she actually did "Apple Tree." If you know, you know. But then she also topped it off with "You Better Call Tyrone. Call him." But listen, gave me life, okay? Miss Badu is worth all the hype. She did everything that she was supposed to do. She ain't leave nothing on the stage, and I loved it. And then, of course, the headliner of all headliners, the reason why Dreamville Fest exists is Mr. J. Cole, which he did an amazing show. But let me tell you about something, okay? Listen, your sister was having a moment, okay? Your sister was having a moment, okay? When you go to a festival, you know, there's drinks involved. There's certain other things involved. And when I got claustrophobia in real life, y'all. So at one point in the night when Mr. Jermaine Cole was on the stage, I'm standing there having a good old time singing. And at this point, we all the way pushed to the back, because you know everybody came out for J. Cole on that second day. And I just happened to be like, oh my God, it's hella heads out here. And what made it settle in more for me was the fact that we standing there, right? Now, mind you, I'm towards the back a little bit, so I see this crowd in front of us. They all got their phone lights on, like in a circle, like they just like flashing them, like they trying to get their attention. And I noticed it, so it was the right thing to do. But so did Mr. Jermaine Cole. He noticed it as well. And he on the stage, he said, "Paramedics, can y'all go over to them? Because I shouldn't have to stop myself." And sent the paramedics over there. Then when I realized how long it took the paramedics to get over there, I'm like, okay. Now, if something were to happen to me, how long would it take the paramedics or somebody to get to me? And it freaked me out a little bit. And I think low key, I freaked myself out, started hyperventilating. And like I said, there was substances and drink involved and whatnot. And so I just was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and sit this one out, dog. I'm gonna have to go sit this one out. I literally looked at, first of all, I went over to the side and I felt so dizzy. I felt hot. Listen, your girl was sweating. I said, okay, I'm trying to get myself together. I couldn't get myself together. So then I looked at my friend, and when I say it was so many heads out there, I looked at my friend. I said, girl, y'all gonna have to find me after this because I cannot. So I went and sat down, and I felt the furthest corner out where nobody was at, sat down over by a fence some daggone way, and was just in my own little zone. I was enjoying the show from afar. So I really am upset with myself because I really missed a good show. Like, I know J. Cole did his thing. So I definitely got to see him again at some point in life. But listen, Dreamville didn't owe me anything. I had a great time. at Dreamville. So I was so happy that I was able to go. But yeah, listen, your girl went to Dreamville. That was pretty much like one of the biggest highlights of me being here. One of the biggest things that I've done. But like I said, I've done so much. I've met so many different people. And just stay tapped into my social media because you'll see all the good things, everything that I'll be up to. And definitely, listen, throw some good positive energy up there for your girl, some prayers up there for your girl. Continue, that I continue on the right path and that I make the connections that I'm supposed to make out here. And just, root your girl on from home. Because I'm definitely going to try to put us on the map, and I'm doing this for us. But now, listen, y'all. This is the one thing I think y'all miss me saying. It's time, y'all. It's time. It's time to spill the tea, okay? Listen, it's been a while since I told y'all get them pinkies up. So get them pinkies up. Because, listen, it's been a lot of tea. It's been a lot of tea going on. Since we last talked to each other. And like I said, listen, I'm just going to do a rapid fire type situation. I'm going to give us 2 minutes, 2 minutes on the clock. Maybe not even that if it's not deserving, to just go through some of the stuff that has been happening, right? So the first thing that I want to talk about that royally cracked me the heck up was Marvin Sapp, okay? Mr. Marvin Sapp, close the door. Just close the door. Close the door. I think that video took us all by surprise because, we all joke about, the pastors in certain churches sending the collection plate around, multiple different times or whatever the case may be. We joke about it in the Black church, but I think that this took it to a whole nother level that we were not expecting. But allegedly, he basically was asking his congregation to give, he was giving tithe and offering or whatever, and said that he was raising $40,000. And this is what happened, okay?
And they understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. It's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. Now, everyone up here.
Listen, this is my take. It's funny as the situation is, right? As funny as it is, I really feel like he meant well, but his execution was off, right? So I had a conversation with one of the girls I met here. I've been involved with a church here, and not in terms of monetary, but we had a conversation where we were like, if each one gives a little, nobody has to give a lot. And so I get it, I get the whole idea of, okay, if everybody gives $1, if 1,000 people give $1, we got $1,000. So it takes a small seed to add to a big number. So I get what he was trying to do and what he was trying to say. But the fact of the matter is, when you tell them people, close the doors, close the doors. Y'all ain't going nowhere but to the buffet anyway after this. Like, what? Now you being blasphemous. Now at this point you being smart for no reason. And now I don't want to give you my money. And now I want to leave just because. But what are your thoughts? Listen, we didn't get a chance to talk about this one. That crap is funny to me. I'm going to add that to my list of things that I just randomly say. Close the door. Just close the door. Then, let's work our way down the list. TikTok got banned on January 19th. Now, even though y'all saw me in February, TikTok got banned, somewhere in there. We never got a chance to talk about it. Your good sis deleted the damn app because I was in my bag. I deleted the app and was mad as hell when they lifted the ban back up 14 hours later and everybody else on TikTok. And I'm like, damn. I can't get it back. And just when I thought I found a workaround, because I found Android, our restrictions are a little different than iPhone. I found a little way where I could download it, outside of the app store or whatever. And so I did that. So I'm hyped. I'm like, oh yeah, I finally got to get it back, whatever. And then 2 days later, they just completely brought it back to the app store. And I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. But hey, listen, y'all enjoying TikTok? How's TikTok going for y'all? There's a lot of things that's going around on TikTok right now, especially when it first started, where people were saying that their algorithm was different, that their timeline was different. A lot of the things that they used to see, they don't see anymore. And I do feel like they are heavily censoring what we see. I feel as though I have not seen many of my conspiracies anymore. A lot of the information that I used to get that was, that underground top secret type information, I don't get anymore. Now it's just all pure entertainment. Now it's all a lot of pure dumbassness with, Shamar and his boyfriend going back and forth every damn week and him talking about how Shamar got his poop stains in his underwears and some more stuff. It's just dumb stuff, okay? Stuff today that I don't really care about. But y'all let me know in the chat. How's your algorithm looking? How's your timeline looking? Then we got to talk about the fact that Kendrick Lamar won a Grammy for Not Like Us. We gotta talk about it. Listen, we don't gotta talk much about it. Listen, because what's understood don't need to be said. But he won a Grammy for it. So I just want to make sure that we threw that out there just to let y'all know, how great the song was. It still got a little life in it, still got a little steam in it. They played it last night at the bar when I went, to have a drink. It's still doing what it's supposed to do. Then let's go on. Listen, so Mr. 45 and Mr. 47, aka Wig, what they call him on TikTok, he been shenanigans, okay? Listen, my boy got sworn into office and he's been shenanigans ever since. I don't know what's wrong with this man. I don't know what he got going on. I don't know what type of ill will he wish against this country, even though he keep talking about make America great again. But this man is losing his damn mind. One of the things that I want to talk about, obviously, a lot of y'all know that basically on his first day in office, he rescinded close to 80 of the previous administration's executive orders, mostly targeting DEI, climate change, and COVID-19 assistance. He signed an order to end diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in federal departments and agencies. And I'm just like, okay, sir, you're trying to take us backwards. I think every day that he's in the office, I think that we realize more and more that he's trying to take us backwards, back to slavery days. Like when he thought, or his people thought America was great, was when everything flourished off the backs of brown people, okay? It sucks because, people assume that DEI means less qualified. But realistically, a lot of these brown people that are holding positions in corporate level jobs or even in the government, they have worked very hard to be there and they deserve exactly the position that they have. Several of these people have degrees, and not to, poop on nobody just to make a point, but in my last position, half of those ladies didn't have no degrees in marketing. But yet these were the women that continued to keep their job after they decided to do a reduction in force. And they let the ones go that had the degrees in marketing. Two of us that I can recall had degrees in marketing, one of which was a brown woman, myself. It just don't make sense to me. Like, it don't make sense to me that a lot of qualified brown people are now being turned away, now being fired without any type of notice or real reason to be doing so. I think that what he's trying to do, he's not trying to make America great again. He's trying to make America mediocre again, because it was always mediocre when it was before we integrated. My personal opinion. Listen, don't shoot the messenger. I feel like we were always such a sophisticated people. We always had skills. And I think that they keep trying to find every reason to make us seem like an uncivilized people, and that we don't deserve to be in the places that we're in. But with that being said, even when it comes to DEI, several different stores, including Target, because Target was one of those places that a lot of people were upset about, because Target was the main one on the front line before this DEI stuff got rescinded, where they had a lot of black artists, black designers, black products. They did a lot to promote, those black businesses. And now that they don't have to, they're not. And so, following with that trend, even Google confirmed that they removed Black History Month. They removed Pride Month and other cultural events from its service, saying that the holidays were not sustainable for Google's new business model, which is rolling back an emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And my thing is, like, we got a lot of DEI when George Floyd passed away. That's when everybody jumped on this train of Black Lives Matter, okay? Black lives only mattered when people wanted to make money, because it was an appropriate message for the time. It let people seemingly show that they supported something, when really the fact that now the DEI is getting rolled back, and now because they don't have to, they won't, shows their true colors. But I just think that as a country, we all need to gear up. And matter of fact, I'm not even going to say gear up, because I believe that a lot of what's going on is scare tactics. I'm not saying that things aren't really happening. I believe that, one, when you're in a position of power, when it comes to war and things of that nature, the first thing you do, if not to conquer and divide, you scare the people. You make them very scared. And so I believe that a lot of what they're doing in this government right now is to scare the people, so that the people won't uprise or, have any real feelings or whatever the case may be, and they're compliant. Once they scare us into compliancy. And so I believe that that's what's going on in this country right now. So my biggest thing for y'all is to stay prayed up. Don't get so caught up in what the media is pushing the narrative, and get scared. And realistically, we ain't our ancestors, so that part. That part. Okay. Now back to the lighthearted stuff. It's a lot been going on. Okay. Listen, y'all know the Millennium Tour has been going on again. And now we got Omarion as a headliner with Bow Wow. And then you got like Rick Ross, you got Bobby Valentino, Pleasure P. Like, you got a whole bunch of different people on this tour. And one thing y'all not going to do, because that's why I definitely got to address this, is because what y'all not going to do, because I'm going to stand behind my man, because he's been my man for a very, very long time. I'm going to stand behind Omarion, okay? I don't appreciate how y'all was saying my man's boobage look like some B cups, okay? Listen, my man still look fine, and I'm gonna cup every last bit of that B cup. I don't give a damn. So what y'all not gonna do is talk about my man like he not still that guy. Because y'all just won't let him live. Listen, I feel like ever since that damn versus battle where he was up there eating that watermelon and they was calling him Old Melon, I feel like y'all haven't let up off of him since then. Now, I ain't gonna lie, even though I'm gonna stand beside him, some of the stuff he been doing has been giving a little cringe. Like, I've been seeing videos lately coming around saying, was Omarion always doing these nothing dances? We always thought he was dancing, that he really can't dance. Listen, put some respect on him. That's all I gotta say. Then the next thing when it come to Omarion, because I was just like, y'all got my baby in his bag. Like, y'all really got my baby in his bag so much at the concert that he gotta tell y'all, stand the F up. This is a concert.
All y'all get your asses up. What the fuck? Get up. Get up. Get up. It's a concert. Get up. The fuck up.
All I'ma say is don't forget he from LA. Okay? That's all I'ma say. It's in him, not on him. Bam. It's in him, not on him. Okay? Y'all better put some respect on my dude. When he get up on the stage, y'all better be jamming with him. Okay? Y'all heard what he said. Get up. Okay? Next thing's next. Listen. Next thing's next. Shannon Sharp, Unc Shannon Sharp, in his most recent legal troubles, it's just like one thing after the next. It's giving at this point. Is Unc gonna be the next Diddy? Is Unc gonna be the next R. Kelly? Because they saying that Unc is into some little freaky ass nigga. You're a 69 God. Run. And listen, they saying Unc is into some freaky stuff. They saying Unc like to play role play. I don't know what it's called, but I'm gonna call it slave play. Like role play where he be with a white girl and it's like a master and slave type of situation. And I'm just like, Unc, listen, Unc, get your shit together, sir. But listen, Shannon Sharp was accused of rape, and the person who accused him of that filed a $50 million lawsuit. Apparently, it was a young Caucasian lady that sued him, and basically alleged that he raped her and threatened her during their 2-year relationship. And she's seeking damage for pain, suffering, psychological, emotional distress, mental anguish, embarrassment, and humiliation. I just feel like everything is consensual until it's not consensual. It's a very fine line. With him liking that kinky stuff, it could have been a time where she decided she wasn't with it no more. And when you got those dynamic of power, it's not as easy to walk away from it. And speaking of Diddy, I know y'all heard about all the stuff that's coming out in the media with Diddy right now with the Cassie allegations. Them talking about him, having sex workers pee on her and stuff like that, and different information that's coming out right now. And I just see a lot of people going back and forth saying, like, blaming her, like victim blaming, and saying like that she should have got out of it. And I'm just like, it's always the people that have never experienced mental, physical, emotional abuse that will say that she could have walked away at any time and she wanted it. And my thing is this, like, at a certain point, if there's drugs involved, one, she probably was strung out, so she wasn't even in her correct mental state. And at a certain point, it does become a lifestyle and you lose yourself in it, even if you are being emotionally abused. But that doesn't mean that you're being any less abused, just because it becomes a normal part of your life and your routine at that point. And just think about the power dynamic. Like when you got a powerful person like Diddy, or if you got a powerful person like Shannon Sharp, who has these major platforms and have all this backing behind them, it could start off consensual until it's not consensual. And maybe that person didn't feel comfortable to speak up and say, hey, I'm not okay with this for various reasons. It's not for us to debate what those reasons should be or debate how soon they should have those feelings. So I just think that people need to stop victim blaming. And hopefully Unc really didn't do that. I like from the audio that I heard, I guess, him talking with the girl and stuff like that. I don't know what it's given. I just feel like she baited him a little bit into it. But at the same time, if he wasn't really speaking like that or doing those things behind closed doors, he wouldn't have been so comfortable to say it. He definitely felt comfortable because he didn't know that he was being recorded. So I don't know. I guess we're going to see what happens. Next thing's next. Since I'm down south right now, listen, I know everybody is on boots on the ground. The trail ride movement with the line dances and everything. I know y'all seen that mixed girl that been going around TikTok, and if you haven't, I'm gonna take a second to show y'all who she is. Take a look. my thing. All right. Do Shorty got rhythm? Yes. Do Shorty got confidence? Yes. Do Shorty got a little bit of flavor? Yes. Are y'all gassing Shorty? Absolutely. Absolutely. It really bothers me that black people be so quick to give the others so much kudos and props for something that real niggas do every day, B. Like, she's not doing nothing that niggas don't do every day. And y'all gassing it up to the point where now this girl is getting booked for trail rides. And she not even that great. I seen another girl, and if I can find the video, I'm gonna put that one up for y'all too, that was killing it. Okay? I seen two people, a guy and a woman, who was doing the boots on the ground with a daggone tambourine. Okay? It's so many more people out here doing greater things than this girl than for y'all to be putting this girl on a pedestal just because she a mixed light skin joint. Like, she cool, but like, you know, it was cool for her to be like to see it and be like, oh, like, damn, like, she doing it. And then the next, we should have went on to the next. I'm getting tired of y'all like shucking and jiving and like inviting people to the cookout just for the bare minimum. At this point, y'all gotta prove it a little bit more, because everybody want to be a nigga till it's time to be a nigga. Okay? If she ain't gonna stand on the line with niggas when shit get rough, excuse my language, then we don't need to be standing with her just so she can trail ride and make $1,000 for every appearance that she make. I'm not with it. Next. On to the next. Now, y'all know my baby, okay? Y'all know I love me some Kevin Gates, okay? Y'all know that is Zaddy, okay? He been seen out with Brittany Renner. Now, Brittany Renner, if y'all don't know who she is a infamous industry chick. She been around the block for a minute. And you know, apparently Kevin Gates done turned Shorty out. He got her walking around everywhere with the hijab. Okay. Apparently she didn't change her religion for him. She didn't, you know, became a Muslim for him. Apparently she became submissive for him. Apparently he left his wife for her. At this point, listen, this is my thing. Drake, first of all, everybody like, oh, Drake like so unbothered, whatever. Let me tell you about Drake. Okay, first of all, we already know in Islam they have multiple wives. Not everybody subscribes to it, but some people do. At this point, that's what it's given. This man had been seen in the media with so many women that's not his wife, and he's still married to his wife. Y'all do the damn math. She don't care. Okay? She don't care. So I'm just like, they look happy, like him and Brittany. They look happy. Yeah. Like, I really can't say nothing about it. They look happy. She looks happy. Yeah, I'm happy. If they're happy, if they like it, I love it. On to the next. Kanye West has been on his rants as usual. One of the things that he has confessed to lately that I feel like we should have been like, close the door. Just close the door. The same way I feel about this Diddy case, close the door. Because I feel like it's so much information that we don't need to know. Yeah, he could have kept this to himself. So basically, in a tweet, Kanye West claimed that he had an incestuous relationship with a male cousin. The statement was posted alongside a video for his new track called Cousins, which opens with the lyric, "Hanging out with my cousin, reading dirty magazines." In the accompanying message, West elaborated on the inspiration for the song, revealing that it was about a cousin who is currently serving a life sentence for murder of a pregnant woman. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6, and then we acted out what we saw. He further alleged that my dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closets were different. He concluded the post saying, "My name is Jay, and I sucked my cousin's D till I was 14. And like I said, close the door. Close the door. Listen. I'm getting tired of y'all celebrities telling us things that we don't need to know. Okay, I don't need to know what you was doing with your cousin. Okay, Mr. Kanye. At this point, it's giving. Which one is it? Is it the tall Kanye or the short Kanye? Because Kanye been saying, like, he's been known to say some crazy things, but I feel like, how did we go from, yeah, they trying to blackball me, they trying to take my money, da 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 da, all this good shit that you talking, to now you talking this foolishness? It's a no for me, dog. Like I said, close the door. Okay, close the door. I don't need to know. I didn't even need to know it. But yeah, next. But that's all. No. Hold on. We got one more thing to talk about. One more thing before I go on to some more stuff. Is there's been a lot of controversy with Rumi, which is Beyonce's youngest daughter, because she's on Cowboy Carter tour right now or whatever, and she's brought Rumi out several times. And one of the first times that she brought Rumi out on the stage, Rumi was very excited. She was, like, I guess starstruck in some regard, like, even though her mom is Beyonce, like, but she was just not. You could tell that she wasn't used to being on stage and being in that environment, and just having so many people around her. My thing is this: so many people are saying that this girl is like a little slow or something like that, and I just feel like people's kids are off limits. I feel like, why are you talking about someone's child? If she is disabled, why do you feel so comfortable to say so and say it so confidently, like it's a good thing to say about a child? Why? But ultimately, what I seen was a child who was very excited to be a part of her mother's world. Beyonce is probably, a superwoman to her, a superhero. And so just being able to be in that environment, like, it was very pure to me. I feel like, she was a child, like the purest form of what a child is in a situation like that. And I think that, people are weird. Like, why are you critiquing this young girl in a way that doesn't need to be critiqued? And so much to the point where the first show she looked like what I just showed you, but then now we're on the 5th, 6th, 7th, 10th show, whatever. And you can see the difference. Now she's much more poised. Now you can tell that they talked her through, okay, when you come out, do this, or when this part happens, do this, or when this happens, Blue Ivy's going to reach out her hand and grab you. Like, you could tell it's way more calculated. But ultimately what I see is the queen is getting her princesses prepared for the throne, because we don't know. I mean, even though Beyonce is still young, she looking good, she ain't missing no beats. We don't know how much longer Beyonce is going to be out there. She's basically building these girls and grooming these girls to take her spot, because she realizes nobody else is going to be able to but her children. And so I think it's quite weird that everybody's been talking about Rumi. But listen, let me know in the chat, what are your thoughts? Because I just feel like people are being weird, like talking about that baby like that. Like, she is a kid. It's off limits. Let it go. Like, people always want to say something, like be hiding behind a computer with Twitter fingers. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the chat. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, and this is going to be the last thing I talk about, I had to do a Met Gala recap, because, last year I blew it up so big, and I, gave a whole review of some of my best looks and some of my worst looks. And the reason why we got to talk about it this year is because of what the theme was for this year. This year's Met Gala theme was Tailored for You, Superfine Tailoring Black Style, which explored the role of the sartorial style informing Black identities, which focused on emergence and significance, and the proliferation of Black dandy. It was composed of clothing, photographs, fine arts, historical texts, and artifacts. So basically, a lot of the looks this year were centered around like suits and different things of that nature. So I'm just going to go through real quickly and just kind of go through like some of my favorite looks and some of my least favorite looks. And it's a lot of them, so I'm not going to spend probably as much time as I did last year on it, because I already talked for a very, very long time. But I think I'm going to say that my number one favorite, it always got to be this person, is Tiana Taylor. If y'all know how I feel about her, you already know. You already know that Tiana Taylor is one of my faves when it comes to fashion. She's definitely a fashion killer, and I think that she absolutely understood the assignment. Sis, she did that. She did that, and I didn't expect anything less than that from her, just because of the theme that it was, and how rich she is in culture in general. So I definitely enjoyed her look. I think one of the looks that I didn't see enough people talk about was Miss Lauryn Hill. I think Miss Lauryn Hill absolutely killed it with the outfit that she had on. She understood the assignment. I loved the color. I loved everything about the look. And it's very much nice to see, Lauryn Hill kind of coming out of the woodworks a little bit. And just like making more appearances, but also I think I really enjoyed this look because one of my biggest things, because it is the Met Gala and it's heavily centered on art and expression, and I'm really a fan of avant-garde, like just the imagination of it all, not just being status quo and just playing it safe. So I believe that her outfit absolutely pushed the envelope for what black dandyism is, but I definitely think that she understood the assignment, so she absolutely gets a hand clap. One of the people that I think redeemed themselves tremendously this year, because she ended up on my worst dress list last year, was Lizzo. I gotta give Lizzo a round of applause. Why? Because number one, I gotta give this girl her props for the weight loss journey that she's been on. She looks freaking amazing. Okay, she looks amazing, and I'm so happy for her. Making that step forward and transitioning. For the sake of her health and all those good things. I think she looks amazing in general. But I believe that her outfit this year definitely stepped it up, and definitely redeemed her from being on the worst dress list last year. Now, this next person, I believe that she always steps out when she steps out, and I believe that this type of theme was pretty much who she is as a person. I think that she dresses like this on a daily basis, and that was Janelle Monáe. I think that Janelle Monáe had a very tailored look. I believe that it was very much, it tailored to the imagination. It definitely had artistic expression. It had pieces that you didn't think were functional, but were very much functional. So I love that when you get a look that pushes the envelope a little bit. But it's very much functional in the process. The next person that I want to say I enjoyed their look was Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana, she always shows up in a very classic look, but I believe that her look was, gave that classy silhouette, but yet that tailored look that the theme called for this year. So I definitely want to make sure that she ends up on my best dress list. Same with Angel Reese. I think Angel Reese, she did her thing. A lot of people were like, well, why was Angel Reese there? Well, why wasn't she there? Why shouldn't she be there? She's a boss. She has blazed her path. Listen, this lady owns a team, like a soccer team. Like, she's a boss. She deserves to be in that room. And I think that she did an amazing job. And she was one of the black athletes that showed up in the room, which I also enjoyed. And y'all also give this person crap every time they step on any red carpet, was Simone Biles. Now, I think Simone Biles looks for the Met Gala definitely. I think it was a really good look for her. I think that it was very much tailored. I think that she looked amazing. And one of the things that I think came out of discussion based off of her look this year was, I think that a lot of people were kind of critiquing her relationship with her husband on the red carpet, because a lot of people were, I guess, saying that they noticed that they were seemingly cold to one another, and not showing affection and things of that nature. But apparently, allegedly, her husband, I guess, feels as though she doesn't get the spotlight as much as she should when they're together. So he decided to kind of play the background a little bit and let her, take the front seat, take the front seat and show up and show out. Hence the reason why, they were kind of coordinated, but her color scheme was, completely different. But yes, I think Simone Biles actually absolutely ends up on my best dress list. Love the color, love the look. It fits her well. Love it. The next person that ended up on this list for me is my baby. Listen, I love me some Lakeith Stanfield. I love me some him. I think that he always shows up and shows out. He was so handsome, always is so handsome. So he got to end up on the list. I think he understood the assignment. Then the next person that I enjoyed, and I think I was so happy to see this person on the red carpet, just because he's about the movement in general. So I love the fact that I saw Colin Kaepernick, and I love the outfit that he, and I'm assuming that maybe his wife had on. I love the little bubble coat number that she had on. I thought that was really cool. I don't think that it was very much dandyism, but I do think that it was black culture. So I do like that little jacket that she had on. But I love Colin Kaepernick's look, and I love the fact that he chose to wear the fro for this occasion. Now, this particular person for me never misses, and I believe that he actually ended up on my top list last year with good reason. This man to me never misses. And that's Jeff Goldblum. Listen, Jeff Goldblum, okay? We invite a lot of people to the cookout, but I believe that Jeff Goldblum should be one of those people that come. I think that he always understands the assignment, especially when it comes to fashion. I think he looked amazing, okay? I loved all the details. He looked very tailored. He looked very polished. He looked very clean. So Jeff Goldblum is on my list. Now, another person that I think did an amazing job was Chance the Rapper. Now, Chance the Rapper, he showed up in a very classic look, a very simple aesthetic, but I think that he understood the assignment. I think that he looked good. What I had wanted to see him in a different color, probably. I think that, because he is a lighter skinned male, I think that tan suit didn't do much for his complexion. So I would have liked to see a little bit of color from him, but nonetheless, he looked good. He ended up on the best dressed list. Now, the men definitely came and they showed out this year. Another one of my favorites, and I didn't know how I felt about it at first because I was a little confused, but that was Damson Idris. When he came out on the red carpet and he had on this like pit crew race car outfit, and he had on this helmet. I was like, okay, is that dandyism? Like, what's going on here? But then when he finally took off that suit, I love a good multifunctional outfit. I love something that turns into something else and gives us that wow factor. So I really like the fact that once he changed out of that outfit, it was a better outfit that fit the theme. I loved it. Loved it. Now, the next person on my list is one of the aunties, okay? One of the aunties. She never fails us. I think that she understood the assignment, and I really loved her look, and that was Miss Angela Bassett. I think Angela Bassett showed up. She had her pimp cane, she had her hat, she had her fro, she had all the items that I think are tailored to black style. Loved it. Now, the last person on this list is another one of my favorites. I think that she never has to do too much. I think that in this occasion, she did just enough, and that was Lupita, and I don't even want to mess up her last name, but I think Lupita definitely showed up and showed out. I loved her look. I loved the tailoring of it all. I loved the color. I loved her hair. I think everything went well together. Now, on to the worst. Now, this person I'm going to start off with. My worst dress is not as long as my best dress. I'm happy to have so many people on my best dress list this year. But this first person that I want to talk about, she kind of actually was on my best dress list last year. I really loved her look. But this year, I really hated it. Loved the designer, but hated the look. And that was Demi Moore. Now, Demi Moore, she kind of failed me with this one. I think that I love the pinstripes. I think a lot of people were going with the pinstripes for this theme, and I think it was very appropriate, but I think that big old thing that she had on her head was just awkward. It was awkward. I didn't really see the point of it. So yeah, it's a no for me, Doug. Then one of the people that I think y'all probably gonna be like, we really put her on the worst dress list. Honestly, I wasn't sure if she needed to be there, but Doechii, I really didn't. I wasn't feeling that whole Louis Vuitton look. I think the silhouette of it, the look of it, was dandyism, but could I have done without the Louis V monogram? Absolutely. I think that's what kind of like made it go on my worst dress list for me. So yeah, Doechii is on my worst dress. Another person that y'all might sue me for is Cardi B. Cardi B, she definitely, I think, stepped outside of her normal aesthetic and she pushed the envelope. So I give her an A for creativity, but I think, and I really like the look. I think it was probably the fabric of it because it looked like it might have been like a velvet, so it was kind of giving sea like moss or something like that. And I don't think that I really enjoyed that green color. That green color I don't think was a good color choice. I think that had she, because I think like a royal blue or whatever, like blues were in this year. So I think had she did that same look in a blue or maybe even a burgundy, I think that it would have been a better look. Now, one of the people that always comes to slay that I think this year she kind of dropped the ball a little bit. I can see where they were trying to go with this look, but it really wasn't like, I think it kind of missed the mark for me. I think because it was, maybe because it was the color of it. So it was kind of giving like wedding dress just a little bit. So I like the silhouette of the look. I liked what they were going for. I just think that it should have been executed a little differently. I would have liked to have probably seen like maybe a pinstripe, tailored type of paint under that dress, and maybe just like that same silhouette of dress, but more tailored and maybe more black or, some color. I think that white kind of threw me off a little bit, and I think that's why it kind of made it to my worst dress list. She still looked good. Kiki always looks good, but I just wasn't a fan of the look. Now, one of the other dresses or looks that I was not sure about, so just by default ended up on my worst dress list, was Sha'Carri Richardson. I love the fact that she had the bows and everything in her hair. I love that. I love the look of the dress, like the silhouette of it. I like the materials of it. I like the lace that she had on, but I think it might have been the colors that kind of threw me off a little bit. I think it was the purple and the yellow together, or maybe if she would have did a different hairstyle, maybe a up hairstyle with the same bows and details in her hair. I think that it probably would have gave a little bit differently to me, but something just fell flat with that look. So I wasn't 100% sure how I felt about it. Was I happy to see my girl? Absolutely. Always happy to see my girl. Love the fact that they had so many young black female athletes on the carpet. Love to see it. She looked good. I just wasn't sure how I felt about that look. Now, one of the other looks that I think a lot of you probably say you like, but I really did not like at all, was Shabuzi. I think it missed the mark for me. Like, I could see where it was trying to go, but it was a no for me. It definitely missed the mark. Now, one of the other looks, I think these last two are probably like my least favorite. So one of them was Zendaya. A lot of people were like, oh, Zendaya had a timeless look, da 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 da. But it was very much given hee-haw. It was given Cotton Eye Joe, where'd you come from? Where'd you go? Where'd you go from? Cotton Eye Joe. That hat was disgusting. And just because of that, I have to put Anna Sawal on the same list because they both showed up wearing the same outfit. Neither one of them wore it better. I hated that look completely. The silhouette was dandy, don't get me wrong. However, I think it was lackluster, and I think that hat was disgusting. It was disgusting. And then my least favorite, which I toyed around with this because when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, it's a no for me. Then I saw it again, I was like, maybe, because I love the level of detailing and the intentionality that was put into it. But I think it was too many things going on at the same time. But at the same time, like, this person was really true to their aesthetic and what they normally do. So I'm like, I play around with putting this person on the least favorite on the worst dress list. But that's Doja Cat. Like, it was giving King Kong realness. The hair was giving Don King realness. It was giving 100 Dojas versus Gorilla. Like, I don't know what it was giving. It was definitely giving Gorilla. Maybe it was the dramatic shoulder pad. I don't know what it was, but something about it just was not given to me, which caused her to end up on the worst dress list. But y'all let me know your thoughts in the chat. Let me know. Was it anybody on the worst dress list that shouldn't have been there? Was it anybody on the best dress list that shouldn't have been there? Was anybody that you did not see on either one of these lists that should have been there? Let me know in the chat. But I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the Sister Talk podcast. I know it's been a minute, but now that you got me, listen, you got me. I'm gonna make it a regular thing. I'm gonna get back to it. Listen, life was life, and I had to get back to the regular scheduled program. So now y'all should be getting episodes on a regular basis again. But as always, if there's anything that's on your radar that's not on mine, let me know, and I'll talk about it on the chat. And I send my love and well wishes to everybody out there. Hopefully you all are doing amazing. Hopefully you all are flourishing. Hopefully you all are accomplishing every goal that you want to be, had accomplished in month 5 of this year. We're almost halfway through, which is crazy. But I hope all of you are on the right track to accomplishing every goal that you had set forth in 2025. And if not, I pray that you all find your joy and your happiness and find exactly what makes you tick and what's your purpose in life. I thank you for tuning in for this episode of the Sister Talk podcast. I hope you enjoyed and have a great night.